Alors on va changer encore un petit peu de genre, ça devient une habitude, et cette fois on est parti sur une vidéo plus culturelle. On va faire un reportage sur un village afrikaner très particulier qui s'appelle Orania. Il est petit, puisqu'il y a environ 2000 habitants, mais si particulier qu'il a sa notice Wikipédia, que vous pouvez consulter bien sûr. C'est une curiosité parce que c'est un village qui vise à reconstituer et perpétuer la culture afrikaner. Et donc c'est un village exclusivement blanc en Afrique du Sud. Et donc c'est assez décrié par le politiquement correct. Et nous voulions nous faire une opinion sur cette identité afrikaner qui était précisément conservée et mise en avant par ce village. Alors pour ce faire, nous avons procédé assez doucement. Nous avons d'abord simplement réservé 2 nuits au camping. Nous avons fait le tour guidé parce que évidemment le village a une sorte de vitrine politique puisqu'ils doivent se défendre contre de nombreuses critiques. Donc ils font des tours organisés pour contrôler un petit peu leur communication. On a fait ça pour rentrer gentiment en contact avec les responsables. Et puis ensuite on a fait connaissance avec un voisin qui nous a donné un point de vue plus privé en fait sur le village. On a refait une visite guidée, mais beaucoup plus personnelle. Oui, et ensuite on a étendu notre séjour.
On s'est posé pour vraiment bien comprendre
voilà.
et ressentir et avoir une opinion qui me semble valable, plutôt que on a vu des afrikaners, donc des blancs, qui venaient au camping simplement parce qu'il s'agissait d'un camping sur leur trajet. Ils arrivent à 6h du soir, ils font un braille et ils nous disent « Oh là là, on ne sait pas trop ce qui se passe ici, c'est le Disneyland de l'Afrique du Sud. » Et ils s'en vont le lendemain matin à 7h. Donc ils ne voient absolument rien de ce qu'est Orania. Par contre, ils contribuent à divulguer une image qui, à mon sens, est complètement fausse.
Oui, c'est comme s'ils jouaient à rentrer presque un petit peu au bord d'une secte, mais qu'ils n'osaient pas franchir la porte, c'est un petit peu ça le jeu. Nous, on a été beaucoup plus francs dans notre approche, on a dit qu'on avait plutôt une vision a priori positive de cette tentative de reconstitution identitaire, pour briser un peu la glace, pour faire tomber les réserves. Et on a réussi à avoir un contact ensuite avec un responsable politique de premier plan, parce que je crois que c'est le responsable du projet Orania actuellement, qui est très jeune, qui nous a accordé 3 heures de son temps, et on le remercie beaucoup pour ça. Et il nous a expliqué, bon bien sûr, il ne nous connaît pas vraiment, donc il s'agissait que d'une discussion à bâton rompu, mais je crois qu'on a réussi à obtenir quand même un discours assez franc, parce que je crois que ça fait partie aussi de leur valeur, la franchise. Ils essayent de dire vraiment ce qu'ils sont, même s'ils sont régulièrement caricaturés de l'extérieur. Donc on l'a écouté beaucoup, vous verrez qu'il y a beaucoup de matériaux enregistrés entre la visite guidée, celle qu'on a faite avec notre voisin et maintenant nouvel ami Raymond, et puis celle avec le responsable politique. Et tout ça crée un mélange. Alors on n'a passé que 4 jours là-bas, on ne peut pas non plus prétendre avoir fait le tour complet du village. Mais on a un point de vue nuancé, plutôt positif pour ce qui nous concerne à la fin.
Oui.
On vous mettra tous les liens utiles pour que vous fassiez aussi éventuellement une idée sur le projet en description de la vidéo.
N'hésitez pas à nous donner votre ressenti aussi en commentaire.
Si possible, en restant nuancé et poli, bien sûr.
Oui. Et on essaiera d'y répondre, il n'y a pas de souci.
Voilà, on vous laisse en compagnie donc de nos guides pour cette visite d'Orania.
And the total area was about 460 hectares, but we've acquired additional land by now, so we are now around about 14,000 hectares already. Okay, yeah. We're still looking at adding more, but that's individuals in Orania that acquire the farms and then add them too. Now, interesting thing is we are more than 2,500 people. We're growing very rapidly. It's almost a snowball effect. In fact, we are now preparing ourselves to accommodate the next 10,000, and that's happening very quickly with citrus trees. Okay. On the left-hand side here. They're going to actually cover it up with nets and stuff. They're busy just lining all the poles and stuff, so it's going to look very nice once it's finished. Now just behind these poles there in the distance, that's our sports field. And then there right at the top, there on the copy there, that is our, like a city hall, it's a community center.
Okay.
These are also peanuts on the right hand side.
Do you have some kind of special political arrangement so that all citizens participate in the way the community is managed and
Yes,
developed?
what you do is when you come to Orania, you have to go through there's a whole process that you have to follow.
Of like co-optation,
yeah.
that is everybody chooses
And
to
then you
adopt you?
you basically sign a contract, and then you come to Orania. We do our own work. We only ourselves, or the Afrikaner lives here in Orania, and we do our own work altogether. There's nobody that's allowed to come and do other than our work. Any other work than what.
So it's like you apply and then people.
Yes, you have to.
Then
You
the community chooses to adopt you or not. And
yeah, you get citizenship basically here in Orania.
Okay.
And if you don't adhere to that, it's contractual. If you don't adhere to the rules, you will be put out of town and you won't be able to come back.
Okay, but does it mean that you have like a formal application or
Yes,
something? Or
absolutely.
You are being interviewed or?
It's a formal application. You get interviewed the whole 2 years.
Okay.
And it's based on 3 things: our Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
our language, and our culture. If you
Yeah.
if you don't fit in with those all 3,
Yeah.
there's no chance that you can stay here. If you're English or even French, and you are prepared, and you take on our culture and you speak Afrikaans,
I understand.
you can actually come here, because those are the 3 main things. As I said, there are so many trees in this place, not just the peanuts, but since we arrived in Orania, we have planted in excess of 35,000 trees.
35 now. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're still at it.
So irrigation is for you something very important, I suppose.
Very important, and we really work with our water in a very we measure every drop that we use for irrigation. We don't waste our water. We now know how important water is.
Yeah, sure.
Now this is a interesting house on the right hand side. This is also here in between the peanut trees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a straw bale house. It's built out of straw bales.
Yeah.
Now I think you people might know straw bales because it comes from the United Kingdom as well as from France apparently.
Yeah, we have.
You have
a
those
lot
examples there.
in the fields. Yeah.
That's right.
And so insulation is very good, I suppose.
Insulation is excellent.
Yeah.
Up there you see a lot of some of our previous leaders. People like Dr. Milan, Dr. Verwoerd, Herzog, Strijdom, Paul Kruger, and then the little chap that rolls up his sleeves. He says, roll up your sleeves and do your own work. That's what it stands for. And that's our official flag, by the way. Orange, white and blue.
And you have your own currency.
Yes, the Ora. The Ora.
Ora.
Yes, the reason why we have that is you can't spend it anywhere else in the world. So it makes it a very safe currency. Nobody comes to steal it. This is one of our biggest denominations that we have, the Afrikaanse Protestante Kerk. This is a church. This is our biggest church, Afrikaans Protestant church.
So when you talk about Christianity, it's only
Christianity.
This kind of Protestant church.
Yes, basically, yeah.
You don't have Catholic, for instance.
No.
It's only Protestant, right?
No.
Because it's into the culture.
This is one of our schools. Now, both of our schools are private schools. That's primary school as well as high school. They both have very high standards, so our kids can actually go and study overseas. And this one's got 320 pupils.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's just the one school. And then right next door to this school we have our bank. Now this bank is called Orania Spar and Credit. That's Orania, that's the first part of the name in any case. But this is the first community bank that was granted a license ever in the history of South Africa. It does extremely well. We're building a brand new building here now, putting in the paving and the parking space, and we're going to have a very nice garden here as well. It's fully under solar panels. And the nice thing about this bank is we started in 1999 with a few thousand rand. We now have a few 100 million rand under management. We grant bonds, you can actually finance your car, but you have to live in Orania. You've got to have a communion bond. It's a very successful bank. These are also going to be offices which are going to fall under the bank. And then here on the right hand side you'll see the street is very nice, it's very appealing due to the fact that everybody built Karoo houses here. It makes it very appealing and very nice. Beautiful street. Just behind the street here on the right hand side we have 15 new flats they're building. 15 apartments. That is a new development. They sold the last one for 1.4 million. There's another development going up there on the back. And everybody is busy in Orania. There's so much work we could do with a lot more hands. There's another development going up here as well. This is just a house going up here. It's going to look beautiful once it's finished. And you'll see there's a lot of houses here on the right hand side. You haven't been up this way, have you?
No.
Not yet.
Well, we just arrived yesterday evening.
On the left hand side also we've put in services, so all the piping is in, the electricity, the whole dirty, and people are just building there as well. There's waiting lists in fact. You know the builders here do very well because there's a great demand. You can see how the foundations are being built and the houses are built, and as quickly as soon as some of the contractors are available, they start building again. But all the contractors here are local and they're from Orania. And there's quite a few old people in Orania, so we're going to build another 38 units to accommodate all the old people. But even though we have so many old people, our average age in Orania is under 35.
Under 35.
Yeah.
Well, that was
It's
one of my
closer to
questions.
30 actually.
Because actually you encourage, I suppose, families to have kids.
Not just that,
no?
we attract young people.
Oh, you attract
And
young
people that study, when they leave the school here and they go and study, they tend to come back.
Okay.
They rather have their family here.
Yeah.
This is our new security officers, which we call it. We don't use the South African police. This is the old one. They're going to all move over to this side, and also the firefighting.
So it's like private or community-based security.
It's basically our own police service when you look at it. But it's called a security company. On the right hand side we have our municipality. We have our full own municipality, only our own people working there as well. And we have a broadcasting station, we have a radio station. This small place here, it's actually slightly bigger than what it looks from the front. That's our new hospital. It's been in use now for 3 weeks. We have a helicopter landing strip here in the front, or a helipad. And this is accommodation for students. There's quite a few places where there's accommodation for students. See, we have an ambulance. That's a supermarket. There's a little pub. And over here we have a double story which is going up. And that is a gymnasium. A gym where you can go and enlarge your biceps. Here we have a hardware store. And just behind the hardware store we have 3 engineering shops. This is the this belongs to the municipality. This is where they keep their vehicles and stuff. Over here, this is our concrete factory. They manufacture pavements, bricks, building blocks, everything you can think of in concrete.
So because you are quite independent, especially from the police, South African police, that means that you still pay taxes to the.
Yes, oh yes, absolutely.
You still have to.
Yeah, we have to still pay taxes, but we don't get anything back for that.
Okay, you just.
But what we do get in return is that we manage ourselves and we enjoy it.
Yeah, sure, I understand that.
That's more than what money can buy in any case, especially in this country. This guy manufactures aluminium and glass doors, and then we have a irrigation company here, this LJ3, and around the corner there's another big hardware store. There's a get-together place here down on the left-hand side, the board, that's for the youngsters, where they can dance and
okay.
make a bit of music.
For parties.
Yeah. And there's a panel beater, there's a guy that fixes air conditioning, and over there we have the aluminium melting factory. And there's still a few industries on its way here. But down there we have the AFM church over there.
So that's church number 3, right?
Yeah, we have quite a few churches, but we're known for that. They're all Christian churches, but there's just small differences here and there.
And you have service on what, Saturday, Sunday?
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 Yes, we have services on Sunday. And this is just a park for the kids. And it just carries on the work. The best is when you've been, if you've been to Orania before, even 3 or 4 years ago, and you come here now, you see the difference, you see what's happened. It's incredible how we're just bursting out of our seams. I call it a snowball effect. It's like a snowball.
Yeah, you've said it already, but I understand
But
what
it
you mean.
really goes well. Grows quickly.
But then when you have this process of enlargement, you also have to keep the whole project coherent. That's
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's maybe
There's a constant control and planning that goes on.
That's the main
all
point.
the way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of very well qualified people that work for us all over at the municipality, for instance, also forever jacking up the infrastructure. They're busy on a new storage farm. They're busy with a solar farm for our electricity. Busy with better pumps for the water and solar for the water pumps. Just behind if you go down the side, there's another big hardware store there. Now all these premises that they were all almost demolished when we moved here to Orania, so we had to pick up the whole area. A lot of new factories were built, but we had to make best with what we received here. And I really think they've done extremely well. Another little church.
Okay. Well, we can see that there are a lot of assets now, a lot of machines, buildings, and so forth. And initially, the investment was only minimal, and it's something that has been only done. On the inner strengths of the community. I mean, it's okay.
That's all.
I mean, you haven't received outside money, obviously.
Nothing. No.
Okay.
Now this is just as people come in and add to it, and this is a little factory. They work with steel. There's the other hardware store that we're on. Over there is a furniture factory, and here we have quite a few places inside this premises here. Here we have a taxidermist, we have a dramatist, we have lawyers, we have mechanics, you name it. A lot of people inside here. this big company. It's a multi-million transport company. He grew up in Orania, and his first job was basically to paint the sidewalks here in Orania for the municipality. Look at what he's got now, what he's achieved. He's giving a lot of people here in Orania work. He's got something like 10 of those big trucks. He's got concrete mixers, you name it. Sells dog food, and he sells building material. Over there where those little buildings are on the right hand side, that's where our university is going to be.
Okay.
That's where they're going to build it. There's going to be a big campus here in between the university and the college in front of us. Technicon, this is also a big success story. We started off here 3 years ago with 6 pupils. Last year 48, this year 152.
What is it exactly?
This is for the building industry.
Okay.
Training the building industry. This is tennis courts and a netball court. That's for the school in front here. That's the other school, by the way, in front. There. They're building additional classrooms. We have about 440 pupils there. That's also from primary to high school. And there in the front on the left, we have a kindergarten. That's got about 100 kids as well. On the other side of the road, we have there's a landing strip even. It's about 1.2 kilometers long, and there's going to be a lot of activities there in the near future as well. We have a very good relation with our blacks, of course, that they come and purchase here from us, and we even help them to help themselves. We have very good relations with them overall, and of course that you don't see on Wikipedia or even in the news.
No, probably not.
Our hand is always open to help them and show them how to do things. So our communications with them is also very good. Ek gaan eers in Afrikaans dit doen en dan in Engels. Hier regs van ons op die regterkant. Hier kom 'n hotel. En nou alles wat ek sê kom binne hierdie jaar. Ek gaan nie 'n ding ver vooruit nie, hoor. En net voor die hotel.
La deuxième journée, nous avons fait la connaissance d'un voisin du camping qui s'appelle Raymond et qui nous a emmenés à différents endroits. Par exemple, nous avons dégusté un alcool local avec un couple de personnes âgées qui a une sorte de bar familial. Nous avons découvert la piscine où plus tard nous avons passé 2 après-midi entières. C'était un point d'observation très intéressant puisque aucun touriste ne vient là et aucun reporter. Or, c'était un point très intéressant pour observer la vie locale et notamment le comportement des jeunes entre eux. Et d'ailleurs, ça nous a fait très bonne impression parce qu'on a eu le sentiment d'avoir affaire à une grande famille. Les jeunes étaient très, très calmes les uns avec les autres. Ils jouaient bien sûr, mais dans un très bon esprit. Raymond nous a aussi fait découvrir une sorte de cantine communautaire où il nous a appris à déchiffrer le menu en afrikaans. Il nous a montré aussi des magasins beaucoup plus orientés vers la dimension sociale. Par exemple une friperie où les gens modestes d'Orania peuvent acheter des vêtements pour un budget très très modeste. Et ça nous a confirmé dans l'idée que le projet d'Orania s'adressait aussi aux gens modestes. On a pu observer qu'il y avait une certaine orientation vers la culture, mais sans que ce soit prétentieux, avec par exemple une bibliothèque tout à fait, elle aussi, simple dans ses ambitions. Et tous les gens qu'on a rencontrés, les vendeurs, Raymond au premier chef, les différentes personnes croisées ont nous donné le sentiment d'être très gentils, très ouvertes d'esprit. Par exemple, quand les gens se croisent dans la rue, en voiture ou à pied, que ce soit nous ou des gens qui se connaissent entre eux, ils se font toujours un petit signe amical, un sourire. On a vraiment le sentiment de gens épanouis, qui sont heureux de vivre là où ils sont et qui sont tout à fait prêts à rendre service autant qu'ils le peuvent aux autres membres de leur communauté et aux visiteurs.
The project of Orania more as conservative or more as identitarian in the sense I used the word before? Because, for instance, from the religious perspective, you're still a bit conservative, aren't you?
Yeah, I think my immediate reaction would be to say identitarian is not something that we, it's not such a common word in our vocabulary.
Yeah.
So it's hard to define yourself in terms that you rarely use. However, my inclination would still be to say that Orania is primarily a conservative project.
Conservative.
And let me explain. We are conservative in our identity, and that's cultural and religious. We are a strongly religious community. Even our constitution states that we're religious. If someone lies to us and sign it, I mean, it's nothing you can do. You can't control the mind of a person.
The belief, yeah.
But the way that we structure the community, the way that we think about things like not laws, but the way that we morally align the town is very much based on our Protestant religious beliefs. And also culturally, we are conservative. But to make it a bit harder is to say that Orania is in our identity conservative, but liberal in our thoughts. And that liberal is not the poisoned liberalism of the 20th
100%. You don't even have to elaborate on this.
I just mean we are trying to be rooted in our beliefs while free thinking in our approach. And I think the way that manifests is in things like alternative construction, things like building houses with straw bales, trying to be eco-friendly, trying to be a green community, separating our waste for recycling. I mean, that might be common in Europe. It's not common in Africa to recycle. I mean, it's very common in Africa.
Yeah, for us, this is the least we can do. For us, it's just normal, and we even feel that you don't do it enough.
And that's the problem of socialism. It migrates responsibility away from the people and to the government. That's one of the core principles of Orania. Is responsibility should not be contracted out to someone else. It should be. There is no freedom without responsibility. It is it's a lie to think that freedom is to get away from your responsibilities. Actually, freedom is to run towards your responsibilities.
Yes,
and that's why the consumer society that you refer to is so far from freedom, because you have no responsibility. You just consume. You know the joke that if two Afrikaners wash out on a deserted island after a shipwreck, the next day there will be 2 political parties and 3 churches. So we are stubborn people. We like to fight each other, and there's quite a diverse set of religious beliefs. Although the Orania stipulates that you have to be Christian and of Protestant tradition. But we don't dictate exactly how people should live out their religious lives in those terms. We try to unify the Afrikaners that come here on the things that we agree on, not the things that we disagree on. So focus on the things that we agree on, which is the basic foundation of Protestantism, and the things that we see truthful. There are subtle differences. I would say we have 3 or 4 main churches and then some small groupings, which is 3 or 4, 10, 20 people. But most of the community can be divided into 3 or 4 main churches.
The feeling I have is that you indirectly encourage people, Oranians, to have children because it's a safe place and because you have services targeted towards the young. You have schools and you have sports and whatever.
You have good schools.
So
and
it's just indirect encouragement. But do you have some kind of formal, direct encouragement, like
we've had it.
Support to families, or
We've had a direct encouragement, the sum of 10,000 rands for every new baby that was born, but that got very expensive very soon. Not because people were doing it for the money. Well, let me just qualify that by saying we weren't giving people checks of 10,000 rands. We gave them 5,000 rands or 50% of that to start the process of the hospitalization and getting the baby and buying the basics, and then 5,000 was invested to pay for studies one day. So that's an incentive that we have had, but so whatever. But we stopped that incentive because it just got way too expensive. People are having lots of babies in Orania, lots of babies, because they feel safe and protected. I think that's the main reason. And I think it feels like the start of a new civilization for people, and that encourages them on a psychological level to just have children.
Absolutely.
I think it's psychological to a large extent. President Nelson Mandela.
I know that. But that to me is, well, it's understandable.
Yeah. President Zuma, and then also Julius Malema. I think it was a bit of a publicity stunt, to be honest.
For you or for him?
For him.
Oh.
For him, yeah, for him. We didn't invite him.
Oh, really?
He decided he wants to come. And I think the reason might be that it was pre-election. So although we vividly disagree with him, we handled him like a guest, treated him like a guest, not like an enemy. And in no unclear terms, we said that we do not agree with his views or the way that he treats Afrikaners. But we still spoke to him civilized, and I think that's important.
Okay.
Racist ideology might say that a racist person might not grant a black nationalist his own country or his own space or whatever. Whilst that is not our view, I just believe that we have the right to our own place and our own pride in terms of what we are, in our national identity and so on, or Oranian identity or Afrikaner identity. So I would, on a very basic level, not disagree with a person that feels the same way for his own people. I would encourage it. To be honest, we have a good relationship with the Xhosa community in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so we encourage that. We encourage self-sufficiency for all nations. We want people to be free.
This could be this Xhosa. What's its name already? The
Miameni.
It could be seen from the outside. It could be seen as kind of an alibi. I believe it's not, but it could be seen as if.
No, it could be, but I mean, we can't not do anything because we fear it might look.
No, I totally agree.
Word now in English. Fight.
Voilà, on espère que cette visite vous a plu. Vous êtes invités à laisser vos commentaires sous la vidéo. On essaiera bien sûr d'y répondre. On va mettre tous les liens nécessaires dans le descriptif. Et bonne semaine à tous et à la semaine prochaine.
Au revoir.